I caught him in the kitchen at 2 a.m., whispering to someone on the phone, shirtless, with lipstick on his collar that wasn't mine. My heart hammered so hard I thought he'd hear it over the hiss of the kettle. When he ended the call, too quick, too guilty, I demanded to know who it was. He just stared at me like I was a ghost in my own home, then laughed, a sharp, mean sound that made my skin crawl. That's when he told me he was psychic, that he'd seen our breakup before we ever even moved in together. He said he stayed because he felt sorry for me, that every time I cried after our fights he'd already known it would happen. He claimed he watched our arguments unfold in his head before they played out, and that he let them happen anyway. I called him a liar, but he listed things I'd said, word for word, from screaming matches months ago, stuff I'd barely remembered until that moment. And then he smirked and told me he'd been waiting for the night I'd catch him cheating, as if it was just another scene in his psychic soap opera. The worst part? He didn't even apologize. He just shrugged, like he was above the mess, like he'd done me a favor by sticking around at all. In that moment I realized every passionate fight, every dramatic makeup session, every wild night out had just been entertainment to him. I was the only one who'd believed in us, while he was just playing out a script he'd already seen. I screamed at him to get out, but he said he'd already packed his bags. He'd known this was coming, after all. When the door slammed behind him, I stood in the kitchen, surrounded by the echo of his prophecy, wondering if free will was ever really an option for me. The real twist? Deep down, part of me wanted him to be right, because if it was always doomed, maybe none of it was my fault.